Hey everyone, Damien the Kung Fit Coach here. Today I'm going to talk to you about how to fix knee pain. Now this is a really common problem. According to NICE, 1 in 5 adults are affected by it. And in fact, a 2011 study showed that since at least 1971, the prevalence of knee pain has been increasing in older adults. Now, you might not know it to look at me, but I have what you might call bad knees. Despite this though, I've rarely experience knee pain anymore, and that's all down to the tips that I'm going to share with you today. So stick around, learn how to get your knees Kung Fit ready, no matter what state they're in at the moment, and let me know down in the comments below if you've experienced knee pain in the past, and of course, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Let's get into it. So what do we mean by knee pain then? This could be pain when going upstairs or walking up a hill, dull pain throughout the day, or even just stiffness and aches when getting out of the bed in the morning, or difficulty bending. It could even be your knee giving way on you with a sharp jolt. These are all things which I've experienced before. The femur, your thigh bone, has a groove at its end into which the ridge on the back of your kneecap sits. This, along with the supporting musculature and ligaments, keeps your knees stable. Now, I have a congenital issue where these structures are not as large as they should be, and this increases the mobility of the kneecap and can potentially lead even to dislocation. I went completely unaware and unaffected until a knee injury started a downward spiral that lasted for a number of years. Eventually, I ended up in physiotherapy, and that set me on a journey to healthier knees. The insights I've gained on this journey are what I want to share with you today. Let me be clear though, that if you're having lasting knee problems, you should take things easy and consult with your doctor. What I'm going to tell you won't be a fix for everyone's problems, but it will help a significant proportion of you. First, we need to look at the potential causes of knee pain. These fall into 5 main categories: injury, diet, weight, lack of flexibility, and lack of strength. Now, injury is a pretty obvious one. If you injure yourself, you're going to have pain in that area, potentially around that area, but also in other parts of the body due to the effort required in compensation. Now, you don't want to go exercising on something that's injured. You want to give it a chance to heal, and the usual elevation, ice, rest is a good recipe for that. When you first get back into training, you don't want to go too heavy. Take it light, and I also recommend using a support just to give your body that little bit of extra assistance whilst you're getting back into things. I generally go for K-tape as it offers more freedom of movement than a bulky support, and I found it to be more effective than things like neoprene supports. This is especially important when we're talking about fixing knee pain. We want the full range of motion available to us while still having that support available. Diet can also cause joint pain. Certain foods cause an inflammatory response, which, although it might not be enough to cause digestive issues or an allergic reaction, can have an effect on how your joints feel. Commonly cited foods include sugar, salt, gluten, saturated fat, and dairy. So if you do experience joint pain, try cutting these out for a few weeks, see if it improves. If it does, reintroduce them one at a time every few days and see if the pain increases again after that reintroduction. That could be an indication that you do have some form of intolerance to one of these foods. Being overweight is another major risk factor for joint pain. Quite simply, if you're carrying around extra weight, your joints are taking more strain and it's more likely to cause them pain. So if you are overweight and you suffer from knee pain, consider trying to drop your weight down. Obviously, being active with painful knees is easier said than done. So stick around to learn how to strengthen up the knees so that you can not only reduce your body weight by being more active, but have that strength as well, so you're doubling up on the benefits for your knee pain. Number 4 is flexibility. You want to regularly stretch your hamstrings, quadriceps, hips, and glutes. A major source of pain and injury can be tightness in the surrounding muscles, so you want to eliminate the possibility of that. I recommend stretching at least 3 times a week, ideally every day, just for a minute each muscle. If you're unsure on how to stretch these, you can find more information right here. Now, the next thing is strength. A lot of knee pain is caused by a lack of strength or muscular imbalances. This needn't even be directly in the joint that's having issues, it could be further up the kinetic chain. For example, weak glutes can put extra strain on your knee. Now, if we're going to do exercises to increase the strength in our joints, we need to start slow, assess where we are, and gradually work our way up to the more difficult exercises. Okay, first we want to work on the stabilising muscles in the knee joint. A great way to do this is to stand on some cushions or pillows with just one leg, enough so that you're a little unstable and can only just feel the floor of your foot. From here, we throw a ball or some rolled up socks against a wall and try and catch it while staying stood on just that one leg. The upper body movement is going to affect your balance, forcing your stabilisation muscles to work extra hard. Do this for a few minutes on each leg every day. Another great way to build up these muscles is to walk backwards. We train our legs to move forwards every day, but being able to take the strain in a backwards motion is important too. To do this, just periodically incorporate a few minutes of backwards walking into your day. Once you're comfortable with this, you can even up the intensity and include some backwards running. But obviously, be careful, watch where you're going. We also want to strengthen the larger muscles in the lower body that have an effect on the knee. Now, these first two exercises are pretty straightforward. For the clamshells, lie on your side, slide your knees towards your chest, bending your legs to about 90 degrees. Next, open up your hips, keeping your feet touching. Your uppermost knee should reach up into the sky whilst your other stays flat on the floor. Try to engage your hips and glutes to open as far as you can and then close up again. This will strengthen your outer glutes, which can be very important for stabilising the leg. For the glute raises, lie on your back, place your feet flat on the floor with your legs bent. Squeezing your glutes, lift your hips up towards the sky. Try to get a nice straight body line along your thighs and torso. Keep the hips engaged all the way up, pause, and then drop back down. This will strengthen the main part of your glutes. The next three exercises you should be able to do without any pain if you start gently. If you do experience any, ease off a little bit, make the exercise slightly easier, or do fewer repetitions to begin with. Only increase that difficulty when you're ready. Tibialis raises involve you touching the wall with just your upper back. So stand just in front of it, lean back so that your upper back touches, and then keep a nice straight body line as you step your feet a little bit further away. The further your feet are from the wall, the harder the exercise is, so start quite close and then work your way out a little bit more each session as you start to get used to the difficulty. So starting with your feet flat on the floor, you want to lift your toes up towards your shins, using your heels on the ground as the pivot point. This will seem pretty easy at first, but you'll soon feel it, trust me. This exercise will strengthen the front of your lower leg and help to protect your knee as it moves into greater ranges of motion. For the bent leg calf raises, stand facing a wall with your hands placed on it for balance, or alternatively you could use a table or a chair that's about the right height. The more you bend your legs, the harder this exercise becomes, so start with a very gentle bend, knees still behind your toes. As you get stronger, you want to start moving the knee further and further until eventually it goes beyond your toes. Once your knees are in position, make sure that your hips are in line with your knees. You want your thighs to be vertical, not sloping backwards. From here, perform slow calf raises, keeping that straight vertical line between your knees and hips. This final exercise of the basic group is a little bit more difficult. The first few you should be able to do without any pain, but this one could potentially cause you some issues. Because of that, I recommend you start with fewer repetitions and work your way up each week if it's feeling comfortable. So you want to stand side onto a wall, place your hand on it for balance, and lift the nearest foot off of the floor. Keep your legs straight, and bear in mind that the higher you lift the foot, the harder the exercise becomes. So to begin with, keep it quite low to the ground. Now, you want to bend your other leg, keeping your body upright until the heel of your lifted foot touches the ground. Then come back up again. Once you've done all of your reps, repeat on the other side. Again, the higher you lift the foot, the lower you have to sink, and therefore the harder this exercise becomes. So I'd recommend you do these 5 exercises in a block together, 3 times a week, and with the number of reps listed here. Eventually, you'll be able to do tibialis raises quite far out from the wall. Your knees will be past your toes in the calf raises, and you'll be getting a full leg bend in those Patrick steps. If you can do all of this without pain, it's time to start incorporating some other exercises to push that knee strength even further. The first thing that I would introduce next is a Patrick step with a resistance band. Loop the band around the back of your knee and anchor it to something solid in front of you. Adjust the tightness so that you're just getting a tiny bit of resistance with your leg bent and then a bit more as you straighten the leg. This will help further strengthen the muscles around the knee. Now comes the hard work and the real kung fu. If you want to strengthen your legs, your glutes, and the muscles around your knee, then Shubu is the perfect position. It's also pretty demanding, which is why I've left it until last. Now you don't want to do this too early because you might just exacerbate your knee pain, so make sure you are ready for it. If you're training Kung Fu anyway and you need to be able to do Shubu, I recommend you start high and only work your way down once your knees are strong enough to take it. If you're unsure on the form on Shubu, you can check out this video and it will tell you exactly how to do it. You might notice that this is incorporating some of the elements that we've already looked at. The knees are going over the toes or even beyond them as we drop down. We shift our weight backwards a little and we lift our torso up, forcing us to engage our glutes to maintain balance. To train your Shubu, we have a few options. Many people will just hold it. And whilst this is a great way to build up your leg strength, to really work on the knees and to make sure that we're working our way down into the lower depths, we need to incorporate some other exercises. I would do these in addition to the ones that you're already doing. First, we have Shubu drops. We start by standing, all of your weight on one leg, and then slowly drop down as low as you can go. Pause at the bottom, and then come up. As time goes on, try to get lower and lower. Once you're getting your thigh close to parallel with the floor, or you hit a block and can't get any lower, start to increase the number of reps. As you're doing this, remember that form. Body upright, glutes engaged, shift your weight back a little bit. Next we have chair Shubu ups. Sit down on the chair, position your feet as if you were in Shubu, one close to the chair and one further away. Lean forward just a little bit and using the slight momentum that gives you, sit up off of the chair. All of your weight should be going onto one leg, the other leg is just there for balance. Pause and then sit down slowly. Start with quite a high chair and then slowly work down to a lower one until you're sitting up into a position where your thigh is nearly parallel to the ground. This will work the most difficult range of motion when your knee is around 90 degrees. Getting into this position from standing can be very difficult, but by reducing the amount of motion required and using a little bit of momentum, we can get into it and work this range sooner than we otherwise might, thereby strengthening our knees to be ready for this position when we can naturally drop down into it. So those are my recommendations for fighting knee pain. To recap, check your diet, watch your weight, improve your flexibility, and most importantly, increase your strength. As I said in the beginning, this isn't necessarily going to fix things for everybody, but a significant proportion of us, those joint pains are caused by a lack of strength, muscular imbalances, strains, and a lack of flexibility. So give these exercises a go, start slowly, and gradually increase the difficulty as you get comfortable with the exercises. If at any point you experience pain, stop, recover for a few days, and then get back to it, but with less intensity. Throughout this, you're probably going to have some aches because your muscles simply aren't used to the exercises you're putting them through. I need you to try and understand the difference between that muscular ache and pain that's caused by you basically doing yourself a little bit more damage. I don't want you at any point to be exercising through pain, but a little bit of muscular aching, that's perfectly fine. So this is going to take a little while. You need to stick at it, but if you do, you should have really good results out of this. I'd love to hear how you get on, so let me know down in the comments below. Remember to give this a like if you found it useful, and obviously give that subscribe button a good hard Mabu punch. I'll see you in the next one.